So at what point did the rapping start?
The rapping really started, like I said, when I dropped my video about the act up season and, you know what I'm saying, the weather being hot and everything like that or whatever. It started like that because I made a song about it or whatever. And then after that, it carried on and people were like, I like this song. And so they're like, like, I feel like you should probably make more music. And I'm like, you know what? I should make more music because I actually enjoyed being in the studio and I actually liked being, recorded. And so therefore, like, like I just like hearing myself and just coming up with creative lines to say in my verses. And then that's just when it just kind of stuck. And then after that, I just stayed in the studio. Like I just was always in the studio, always in the studio.
Okay, and like some of your early like social media clips, I looked through a few of them. One of them was like how Atlanta guys always use sound effects.
Atlanta niggas dead ass always gotta use sound effects when they explaining the story. So I hit that nigga like fit. We walked off in the house like hit that nigga with the 2P like bum bum. I thumbed through the shit like We swerved around that nigga like skirt. Like what the fuck is bum bum?
Oh wow, that's like one of my first videos. Like that's like a really, really old video. But yeah, yeah.
Describe how that works.
You talking about like how Atlanta guys talk?
Right.
Oh, Atlanta guys, like, let me tell you something. Being from Atlanta, that's a culture of its own. Like, that's a world of its own. So it's like, like the lingo from Atlanta, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just different. Like, that's some real, like, southern ass shit. But it's like so, like, country and ghetto and ratchet in its own way. But it's like fly too, because it make folks want to talk like them. So yeah, but yeah, like, I forgot what I was talking about. That video is so old. Oh my gosh. I forgot what I was talking about on that video. I know I was talking about
I think you
Atlanta
were like,
people.
yeah, they jump out the car and pew, pew, pew.
Oh yeah, how they use sound effects. So
right.
Yeah, they'll be jumping out the car. Like they'll be like, yeah, and I jumped out the car. And then I hit the gun like pew, 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 pew. And then they'll use sound effects and they'll be like, and then I'll pull it over to the curb like, skirt. And then, you hop out like, boom. And then, like,
Yep. Okay, and then there was a video about burnt pussy lips.
Boy, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt. He like the black lip, he like the black lip, he like the black lip. Fuck up big lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt. He like the black lip, he like the black lip, he like the black lip. Fuck up pussy lip. She ugly as fuck, bro. What did y'all mean? Fuck up pussy. Fuck her right in her 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 pussy.
that was an old video too.
Right. Well, I mean, the imagery of that is kind of hard to get out of your head after you hear it. So what was the whole meaning behind that?
Honestly, it was just some random shit, like shit that I come up with in my head. Like I'm just very just random. Like that's my personality. I'm very random. So it's like when it comes up in my head, I be like, I just say whatever. And then, we started beating on the wall and then I was just like, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip, burnt pussy lip. And then they had the flat iron going and that was just that on that. Like, I just started going crazy. Like, I don't know, I'm very random. Like, I'm one of those friends that'll start beatboxing out of nowhere and then we'd be like, oh, okay, like, let's just make a joke or let's do something funny or,
I feel you.
Yeah.
Okay. And were you LightSkinKeisha from the very beginning?
I mean, I've been LightSkinKeisha for a long time, so I don't know, like, to say the beginning, I mean, I don't know, but it's like I've been LightSkinKeisha for a very long time, so I don't know. I don't know how to really describe it.
Well, when you first started rapping, though, you were LightSkinKeisha?
Yes.
Or you had a different name?
Yes,
okay.
I was LightSkinKeisha, always.
Okay, and did you get any pushback from that name?
Not necessarily, not like pushback. I think like there are people who kind of like just look over it and they know like, I'm not meaning like anything like, like trying to be like, oh, she's a colorist or anything. Like there's a lot of people who get that, you know what I mean? But then there's some people that they'll comment certain stuff and be like, oh, she's not even light skinned, or why does she call herself LightSkinKeisha, and that's so colorist and stuff like that or whatever. But me as a person, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, like, you have to understand what colorist actually means. And I feel like you also, before you get to judging and assuming that somebody is this and that or that and this or whatever, you have to understand where the meaning of that name comes from. And that name does not come from anything of being colorist. You know what I'm saying? A colorist is somebody who discriminates against one's skin tone or whatever, and you know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying, try to use that against them or whatever. I've never, in no way, shape, or form, in no way, period, have ever used a skin tone against somebody, you know what I'm saying, or why they couldn't work with me. Like, if you check my resume, even in the treadmill video and whatever video, it doesn't matter. Like, I always made sure that I use, you know what I'm saying, even with my dancers that I go perform on stage with, I make sure, you know what I'm saying, not even just make sure, but it's just shit, who I like, you know what I mean? Like, I work with brown skin girls, I work with dark skin girls, I work with light skin girls, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even in the videos, like, I've worked with plus size girls, you know what I'm saying? Because I stand for women, period. So I feel like when people get to judging and being like, oh, you know what I'm saying, why is her name LightSkinKeisha? Like, you have to understand where that comes from, and you have to also know, if you accept it, then you know that that doesn't come from her being, that doesn't come from me being colorist. Like, because I'm not a colorist, I'm a black girl, you know what I mean? Like, both of my parents are black. My mom and dad is black, you know what I'm saying? I'm a black girl. Like, why would I be against something that I am? I would never do that, you know what I mean? And I stand for black women, period. And you know, I love black women, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, like, I'm never going to be against something that I am personally, period.
Well, yeah, I mean, but unfortunately in 2019, colorism in the black community is still a thing.
It is still a thing. It is still a thing, and I will agree. It is still a thing, but when you come to LightSkinKeisha, at the end of the day, like, LightSkinKeisha is not a colorist. You know what I mean? So it's like, regardless of everything that's going on outside, LightSkinKeisha not a colorist. LightSkinKeisha, her name is that just because it's literally a description. Like, it's just a description. Like, you know how people would describe themselves. Like, how would you describe yourself? Would you say that you're light skinned? Would you say that you're white? Like, would you say that you're a what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what would you say you are? You know what I'm saying? But it's literally a description. And then there's people who are like, oh, she's not even light skinned. I'm like, y'all have to understand, I can't wait to be brown and tan and get some color to me, because I'm really a natural pale ass girl. Like, when it gets cold, I'm super, super pale. And I can't wait to use a saturation filter on my pictures. You know what I'm saying? To add some color to myself, because it's like, you know, like, shit, a bitch is pale sometimes. So I can't wait. But it's like, it's nothing against, you know, darker skin tone girls. Like, it's nothing against that. It's just literally because, you know, I have a favorite movie. The name is Belly. And you know what I'm saying? I like the character that, one of the main characters in the movie was Keisha. And I like the character that she played. I like the role that she played. And she was like, you know, this chocolate boss bitch goddess, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was just bad as fuck. And so I'm like, shit, I'm the LightSkinKeisha version of her. And that was it. And then, you know, also growing up, where the names come from is that I knew different Keishas when I was growing up. I knew, and so how we would differentiate what Keisha is, who Keisha or what the Keisha was talking about, you know what I'm saying? Whoever the Keisha was that they were talking about, it would be, oh, dark skin Keisha or brown skin Keisha or light skin Keisha or whatever. So I'm like, you know, I'm LightSkinKeisha. And that's just that on that. It's nothing more, nothing less. It's nothing about me being like, you know what I'm saying, colorist to my own kind. I would never do that to my own black sisters and, you know what I'm saying, black women, period. Like, I would never do that, because I'm black myself and I love being black.
I feel you. Well, listen,
right.
Sounds like you own it.
Right.
That's
period.
That's like, the only thing that's important.
That's just that on that. And I stand for any woman of any different color. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna ever put no other woman of any different color, you know what I'm saying, down, because you know what I'm saying, I know as my culture, as being black, you know what I'm saying, I know all the shit that we've been through and that we go through still to this day. So I would never discriminate against my own kind, ever.